We're back here with another edition of Talking Indiana Baseball. I'm here, Cooper Trinkle, with Connor Matting. Today, we're going to talk 2028's, the rising sophomore class within the state of Indiana. We just put out our updated 2028 rankings here a couple days ago. So now we want to give a little bit of clarity to that list, talk a little bit about it in depth, and then have some fun with it. Connor and I are going to do a fantasy draft. We're going to go snake style back and forth with a fantasy type deal of what we're doing is, hey, we're gonna draft a 3-game series roster, and we'll revisit this maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, and see which team we think would prevail at that time. Have a little bit of fun with it. But overall, before we get into the fantasy draft, kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this class as a whole. And I want to talk about this class a little bit from a rankings perspective, right? Because these guys are still very young. A lot of these guys throughout the list of 200 names that we put out have not seen varsity time yet. They're guys that we've seen through our showcase series. They're guys that we've seen at prep baseball tournaments. They're guys that from trusted sources we've said, hey, this is going to be a guy, give it a year, give it 2 years. But at some point, he's going to make an impact. He's going to be a name to know within the state of Indiana. So that's where we feel comfortable being able to put out that list of 200 prospects, and our database goes well deeper than 200 within this rising sophomore class. There's plenty of names that, as we were going down towards the bottom of that, there's an internal conversation of, hey, do you think we should go with this guy? You think we should go with this guy? Ultimately, that 200 list we put out, it's reflective of our thoughts right now, but it's sure to change, right? The volatility of younger prospects is something that we are very well aware of, right? There are guys within that list that they may decide, hey, football is going to be the route, right? Or basketball is going to be the route. But for some reason or another, they've caught our eye enough that we've put them on that list. And for us, as we put them on that list, really the benchmark goes to, we believe that's a college level player, right? Maybe not a Division I player, but we believe this kid has the traits that, keeps his head on straight, continues to work, continues to refine his game, do all those things, right? He's going to be able to, when he's a senior in college, he's going to have the options to play this game at the next level. So as we go into that too, I also want to kind of talk about, and we talked in our 29 rankings about tiers. This list is immensely tiered, right? Like, internally we feel very, very good about, hey, these top 30 prospects, like this is what a Division I player looks like at this age. We're not saying, we're going to go perfect 30 for 30, all 30 are going to be Division I prospects, but we've seen this before and we know what it looks like. And so for now, those are the guys that we felt confident in being able to say, they're on that Division I trajectory, right? But as we move on through that list, man, I mean, the difference between 110 and 190 is not very big, right? Frankly, it comes with more confidence. The guys that we see, lower on the list, but are above some other names, maybe that's a guy that we've seen more of. Maybe it's a body that's a little bit more projectable. Maybe it's a guy that did play at the varsity level and he's put up stats against, good competition. And we just feel a lot more confident in, that guy's trajectory or our evaluation on that specific prospect. Not as much of like, 110 is so much better than 111, right? That's really not the case in this. And as with all of our lists, like it's going to continue to evolve. Ultimately, what this list does is we're trying to set ourselves up for being able to identify as many names in that rising sophomore class as possible, because we know where that list is headed. We have our 2026 rankings set to come out here within the next week. And, that list has now evolved to 375 names. That's kind of the number that we've pinpointed with some data that we've used on previous classes, that's about what we expect the number of overall college commits to be in the state of Indiana. And so, as I talked about previously, that with that list of 375 guys, those are the number of college commits we're going to have. So as our lists are growing, that's what we're ultimately trying to get to. I know Connor and I talked a little bit as we were putting this list together, of what we're trying to forecast this group out to. Connor, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I just had a question. You kind of hit on different 110, 180. What would you say to a kid in the 140s? How can he improve upon that ranking? What's the best way for him to get in front of our staff? Like, what would you say to a kid that wants to get better from where he's at?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, each individual development curve is different, right? So, there's some guys who are in that list and, they're ranked, let's say 140, right? Like, and what we're looking for that kid to show is, we need to see some more strength. We need to see him mature a little bit more. So we want to see his tool set develop, right? Maybe with some others, we haven't seen him enough on the game side that, hey, we want to see him come out this spring and post numbers, right? It can be a lot of different things. I think ultimately, like if you are that kid that, you're ranked in that area and you're looking to improve, I'd say the first thing is get into one of our winter showcases, right? Continue to get in front of us, continue to show us, hey, I'm getting better. My 60 was a 7.6 last year as a freshman at the freshman all state. Now I'm going to come back to the underclass all state, one of the preseason IDs, whatever it may be. And I'm going to show, I've been working on my speed. Now I'm a 7.1 runner, right? So now all of a sudden for us, that tool takes a grade up. And whether it could be the run tool, velocity, whatever it may be, you show us that you care enough about this that you're going to continue to get better. And that's how you're going to continue to jump, right? And then from there, go parlay that with a big spring season. I know not every sophomore is going to be in a program that's conducive for underclassmen to be on the varsity field, as an underclassman, right? You talk about the Center Groves of the world, or, the Penn High Schools of, massive schools with a ton of baseball players where it's really hard to crack that varsity lineup as a sophomore, right? We do see that, right? For that guy, continue, keep your head down, keep working, come show it to us in the summer on the summer circuit. That's the beautiful thing about travel baseball is we're able to see these groups in only competing against their class. And so, yeah, that'd be the biggest piece of advice for me. I mean, one, for all of these guys, they're sophomores in high school. They haven't reached their man body yet. The number one thing these guys need to get into is the weight room. The weight room in the kitchen, eat, lift, sprint, move your body quickly, do all those things to elevate yourself as an athlete. I do think that's honestly the easiest way to make yourself jump, to make yourself more noticeable, is just, having a better engine, having a body that moves faster, is able to control the ground better, do all those things. But then again, on top of that, our staff is going to be out throughout the state during the spring and throughout our winter showcase series. So that way we can identify those guys that continue to get better, and we can identify those guys that are able to translate those tools into the game setting. So for me, that's kind of a quick overview of how this list is kind of evolving to. It's still far from incomplete, but one thing I do want to add as far as just the list in total, right? Like it's you'll see with the way that if you look through that 2028 list, at the top, it's guys that have not only proven themselves in game, but they have prereq tools, whether that's the frame, the tool set, the in-game ability, the swing, whatever it may be. They have those abilities of this is what a Division I player looks like, right? And as we continue to move down there, it's it's middle of the field athletes, it's middle of the order hitters, it's projectable arms with a chance to start. It's not only just stuff, right? I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions we see within our rankings is it's like, hey, I throw 2 miles an hour harder than this kid. Why is he ranked higher than me? Right. And it's, for me in specific, and I think I speak kind of for our entire staff here, those velocity ranges really, they're a range, right? There's not a huge difference between an 84-mile-an-hour fastball and 86-mile-an-hour fastball. It's what else comes with it, right? How do you move within the body? How's the delivery? What's the arm action look like? And almost more important than what the pure velo number is how often can you get over the plate, and what kind of secondaries do you have, right? Because that could be the difference of, a kid that throws 84 and a kid that throws 86, but we go with the kid that throws 84 just a little bit higher because, you know, the breaking ball is better or the frame's better, or just different things like that. So it's definitely something I want people to understand with that. Connor, I know you have a point here.
Yeah, another point on that. I think a great thing about our website is you can see the growth really easily. So you can see, and I know this is important with college coaches too, from our Rising Stars events, underclass, preseason All State, the more you go up, we want to see improvement a little bit off your 60. Your exit velocity going up. We can see you're putting on strength. Your velo slowly progressing. That progression is important for us. If you're stagnant, that's a little bit of a red flag. So I think that's an awesome thing with our website. You got anything on that?
Yeah, there's real life examples of that. I want to look at two of the biggest winners of 2000 in the 2027 class, and in specific, Ben Canada, right? Like Ben Canada was a guy that we had ranked 77th at this time last year. Now he's a top 10 player, heading to a Big Ten program in Northwestern. Shout out to Ben Greenspan. He's done great things with that program since he's come in. But Ben Canada was ranked 77th going into the state right now. Right. Ended up being a future gamer, had a huge sophomore season. That guy went and put in the work because it was like he came to the underclass games as a freshman, was like a 7.7 runner, maybe 85 exit velocity. All of a sudden, he puts in the work that off season, grows a couple inches, cuts his 60 down by half a second. Now he's hitting balls in the mid 90s. And then he goes out in the spring and he leads the state in homers amongst sophomores in the state of Indiana. Right. Like, that's a perfect example of a guy that we evaluated early. We saw him. We were like, oh, great mover, but he lacks strength. He lacks some tools, things like that. And he went and put in the work, and he continued to show us like, hey, no, I'm here to stay, and I'm here to get better. Right. Grady Grant was another example of that. Talked about him on the 2029 rankings podcast. As an eighth grader, the kid ran an 8.3 and was 76 off the bat. Now we look at him. He's a 7.1 runner, committed to TCU, cut his 60 down by over a second in a 2-year span. He continued to get stronger with the bat. He hit as a sophomore at Center Grove. The glove's always been silky, and he continued to do it that way. But it was just the progression of that made us really, really comfortable of like, oh, like he's done nothing but get better. Like by our evaluations, he's going to continue to get better. Right. And so that's a great point, Connor. And it's what I speak to when I talk about kind of the volatility of this list, right? This is a list of not only, hey, these are the guys that we feel are going to be the guys when they're seniors, but it's also like a bit of a projection, but it's also like it's bound to change, right? Again, if we were sitting here a year ago today, I don't know that we'd say, hey, Ben Canada is going to be a future gamer. Ben Canada is going to be a top 10 player. But what he did is he went and put in the work, and he made us look at him and be like, you know what, man? Like this kid keeps getting better. And it was something that I think a learning experience for just about any kid that's listening to this, any parent that's listening to this, they can understand of, hey, we do feel very confident when we put out lists, but we are also very, very apt to go, you know what, like come prove us wrong. Right. Before we get into our fantasy draft, I want to talk a little bit about some of those guys that we do see a little bit further down the list that we are excited about. Connor, give me 3 names that you think are bound for a big 2026 year that are ranked outside of our top 60 right now.
3 names. I got Hayes Salugi. Did I get that right? Salugi. There we go. My fault, Hayes. But Hayes came to Scout Day in the fall. 6'4" guy. I think if he puts on some strength, he's got a chance to really make some jumps next spring. Low 80s fastball. I really like the way it comes out. He gets good extension down the mound. He also showed a mid 70s slider that he threw a couple where it's like, whoa, like that pitch has got a chance to be real. He's got to get that a little more consistent. But another guy would be Connor Buck. Came to our fall state games, really spins it. Real feel for a breaking ball. Going back through those videos, he carved with that breaking ball. He's from Charlestown, 6 foot, arm works, I expect him to make some jumps, and he's always going to get outs with that breaking ball. Next guy would be McCade Grease from Terre Haute. I saw him in the fall out at some tournaments, Indiana Nitro. Just really athletic. I know he plays basketball too. 6 foot, 160, solid on the dirt. I saw him make him play over at shortstop, over behind second base, and I was like, okay. And then he just hit throughout the whole week. I expect him. We haven't seen him in a showcase setting yet, but I expect him to make some noise in the spring and next summer. You got a couple guys?
Yeah, I do. And you took the Connor Buck name out of my mouth. He's a Southern Indiana kid. I'm excited about as well. I mean, we always talk about it, spin wins, right? And so long projectable body, can already spin it. The velo's 82, 83, something like that. He's a guy, man, if he comes back in the spring, he starts to play with some mid 80s, maybe even higher. That's a guy that could shoot up this board quickly. For me, one of the first guys I want to talk about kind of fits that Ben Canada, Grady Grant mold. I love silky moving left-handed hitting shortstops. I want to talk Caleb Walter from Columbia City, Fort Wayne area guy. Came to our fall state games, is a big riser in this update. Man, I love the way the kid moves. He lacks strength right now, not a great runner, not going to wow you with exit velocities, but we put him on the field at the fall state games amongst basically all 26s and 27s, and he was one of the few 28s on that field, and he didn't play like it. He had a couple extra base hits. He was making every play on the field. Batting practice was really smooth. Kind of knew who he was there, wasn't trying to lose balls, was just kind of spraying around doing his thing. So he's a guy, man, like Caleb puts on some strength. I think he could jump 20, 30, 40 spots, as we move into next spring. Another guy I want to talk about, I'm going to stick in Southern Indiana for all three of those guys, stay with my roots. Shout out Southern Indiana. I'm going to go Nash Crafton from Madison Consolidated High School. 6'3", 6'4" arm. He was up to 84 from a low slot at the fall state games. The secondaries are refining a little bit, but I do like the way he moves within the delivery. It's a big kid that, he's not, again, kind of lacks strength right now, but he's not going to. If you look at how the frame is built and how his body is, he's going to add strength, and he's going to throw harder. I'll put a small little comp of him. He kind of reminds me of Matt Cook at the age, right? Like Matt Cook was a guy that, as a product of Hanover Central, we saw a little bit more of. He had, some in-game success as a freshman and as a sophomore that made us really comfortable at that age. But I wouldn't be surprised if Crafton came out, this spring flirting with mid to upper 80s from that lower slot. If he can refine that breaking ball, maybe throw it a little bit harder. I know the raw spin's already pretty good on it. So, he's a guy I could definitely see jump. And I'm going to stick down there with Aiden Toller from Jeffersonville as my last kind of, a pick to click type deal. Silky left-handed hitter, made an impact for Jeffersonville as a freshman. As long as we've known him, he's gamed, he's hit. He's been a super productive player for that Ironman squad that he has with, him, Carter Durbin, another couple guys, that are down a little bit further on our list from that club. And it's a good group. Aiden's a guy that I feel strongly about the hit tool continuing to elevate as he continues to add strength. And so he's another one that, we haven't seen him in a showcase setting since I want to say like his Rising Stars days. So Aiden, if you're listening to this, would love to see it showcase this winter. But I'm already booking trips to Jeffersonville for this spring. I want to go see one of our top uncommitted 27s, Eli Harris, this spring. I think he's going to be a big name that college coaches are going to want to go see. And I think Aiden Toller could be a benefactor of that by, hey, Eli Harris is bringing those college coaches in, and they're going to be asking, who's this little left-handed hitter hitting at the top of the lineup, just keeps getting hits. So those are my three, and man, we could go deeper on this. I think we could talk for 30 minutes of, guys that, hey, this guy has a chance to pop. One other guy I want to throw in is Chris Mish. I know we set it to 3, but Chris Mish is a kid from Norwell that I saw this summer at a prep baseball tournament. And man, the body stood out. It's 6'5", 6'6", long, athletic. He was doing the box, did it on the mound. At that time, it was a little bit lighter. Saw a video of him training a couple weeks ago, and it is training videos, so you never know what the environment is necessarily like. But he was flirting with some low to mid 80s fastballs. Guy I think could come out. I saw he just registered for one of our preseason IDs up in Fort Wayne. I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Mish comes out there and he ends up jumping 50 60 spots. So that kind of wraps up our pick to clicks, the guys we want to talk about there. And I hope parents, players, everybody listening to this kind of sees a little bit more in depth of the way that we look at this list. It's not final, but it is something that we work really, really hard to make sure that we have some basis when we put this thing out. So without further ado, man, let's have some fun with this. Let's get into our fantasy draft. We did a coin flip before this to figure out who has the first pick. After that, we're going to go 2 picks at a time just to kind of speed this up. I ended up with the first pick, and to nobody's surprise, I am taking Dylan Murphy. All right, our number 1 ranked player in the class. I'm going to go ahead and pencil him into my 3-hole on Team Trinkle. I'm going to go over the copy machine. I'm going to make 100 of those things with Murphy in the 3-hole. I'm not sure if he's going to play third or short for Team Trinkle yet. What I do know is he's going to be in the middle of my lineup, and I do know he is one of the most feared hitters within the state of Indiana, within the Midwest in the 2028 class, and for that fact, in the country in the 2028 class. I'm so convicted in that kid's ability to hit. He's going to hit he's hit for as long as I know him. He's going to continue to hit. There's special traits in what he can do in the box, and on top of that, it's one of the best makeups I've seen at the age. That it's dialed. I know he's working right now. His dad owns a facility down in Evansville. He sends me videos all the time of in there. He's grinding late at night. So Dylan Murphy, my number 1 overall pick. I'm going to go ahead and pencil him in. Connor, you can go ahead and take your 2.
Pretty easy choice there. You took the number 1 position player. I'm going to take the number 1 arm. We got Cole Breeden, 6'5", 6'6", right-hander. Silky mover, arm works. One of the more advanced, if not the most advanced arm I've seen at this age in my 3 years doing this. Evansville modern day kid. I'm going to take Cole Breeden. He's going to be my game 1 starter. And then my other pick, I'm going to take arguably the best pure hitter in the class, Mason Bernacki out of Penn. He's going to play center field, hitting the 2-hole. So, yeah, we love Mason Bernacki. Hits, throws, runs, just tooled out player. Also killed it on the football field this fall for Penn. So, yeah, I'm going to take Cole Breeden and Mason Bernacki.
I like it. All right, I got a couple options to go here, and for everybody listening, we did not script this out, so we're thinking on the fly here. I'm gonna go. You know what? There may be a couple guys that we have ranked higher than this guy, but I'm gonna take him because of the 2-way value that he provides, and that's Billy Miller. I'm going to take Billy Miller. He's our number 6 overall player. I'm going to take him here with a 4th overall pick from the end of, hey, if I need to build a squad to go win a game, the value that kid brings as who I believe is the best defensive shortstop in the class, on top of a slam dunk top of the lineup catalyst bat. Oh, and he can hop on the mound and run a fastball up to 90 with a breaking ball that's going to be real at some point. So I'm going to take Billy, and I'm going to bolster my pitching staff with one of the more advanced left-handed arms I've seen at the class, and that's Ty Pole. Ty Pole, number 4 ranked prospect in the state. Man, it oozes upside. And Dad's a pro scout. The composure that he shows, tells me that he's been around a lot of high level baseball. It's a 3-pitch mix guy with an advanced changeup and a real shot of getting a lot better. I tell you what, we've got 5 picks off the board right now, and 3 of them are from the Evansville area. Just like I said, I'm booking trips to Jeffersonville. I'm booking trips to Evansville this spring, man. I am all on board with Evansville this spring. There's a lot of sophomores down there that I'm going to get to see. I know you're probably going to be itching to get down there as well. But, yep, without further ado, I'm taking Ty Pole as my number 1 arm. He's going to go versus Cole Breeden, and I'm going to take Billy Miller as my number 2 arm and also my starting shortstop. So that's going to slide Murph to third base.
Yeah, two good players for the Trinkle squad there. Oh, for me, Billy Miller was definitely on the Connor, high on the Connor team boards. Good pick. I'm gonna go. I went outfielder, pitcher last time. I'm gonna take an infielder. I'm gonna take Jack Whaley out of Columbus North. Right-handed hitting infielder, can really hit. I know he's one of your kind of favorites. Yeah, we're gonna hit with Jack Whaley and Mason Bernacki. The next pick, this is tough. We are gonna bolster the. This is tough.
You're ticking.
We're gonna wait on. We're gonna go Canyon Kuntz out of Brownsburg, our number 3 ranked player, runs, hits, left-handed. Yeah, had a big spring for Brownsburg, hit in the summer, came to our Midwest Super Sophomore games. Really advanced player. I'm going to add him to my outfield with Mason Bernacki.
Dang, I thought you were going to take an arm there, and I was going to get one of Jack Whaley or Canyon Kuntz to fall to me.
I know. I didn't want you to get an outfielder, so.
That's fair. Dang. All right. I see you. Definitely two of the guys that I was going to push towards. You know what? I'm going to take a two-way guy again here, and I'm going to go with Spencer Schiff. I'm going to stick with my mold of taking guys that maybe we have, Spence is our number 12 ranked prospect guy we're super high on. I'm sticking in Southern Indiana. Spence is going to be my catcher, and he's also going to be a guy that I take as a relief pitcher type. He gives me a little bit of flexibility that I could add another arm down there just because I do have two ways already that I could it's gonna give me some flexibility. But overall, man, again, if I gotta go win a game, give me Spencer Schiff all day, twice on Sunday. Kid competes, kid's a gamer, absolute winner. And then after that, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, because you've already taken our top 2 outfielders off the board, I'm going to take Andrew Noble in center field. I could go a lot of different ways with this pick, but I'm going to go with Noble because, for me, I look at our rankings. We got 3 outfielders ranked in the top 10. I can't have you taking all 3 of them. Andrew Noble is going to hit the top of my lineup. Extreme athlete that did nothing but hit. I had great reviews from Ian Smith down at Lake Point. Shout out to Ian Smith, the GOAT. On this kid last summer. He's like, hey man, this run tool's real, and he has done nothing but find the barrel. So he's a guy for me with a Westfield club this spring that I think is going to come back after a deep playoff run, and they're going to try to do it again. I think Noble inserts himself into that lineup as one of the more productive hitters for the Rocks this spring. So I'm taking Noble. I'm taking Schiff. Who you got?
I'm going to go arm here. I'm going to go Luke Hensley, our number 2 ranked left-handed pitcher in the class. Tri-West kid. I think he's probably one of the biggest winners on the bump from the Midwest Super Sophomore games. It's polished. It's clean. I think there's big jumps to come in the spring. It's like mid-80s right now. It's just easy. Yeah, Luke Hensley is going to be my number 2 starter. Next pick after that, you took Noble. Yeah. I'm going to go, since you already have 2 infielders, I'm going to go. Actually, we're going to go another arm. We're going to go Drew Morgan.
That was my pick.
Drew Morgan's going to be game 3 starter. Another big winner from the Midwest Super Sophomore games. Projectable righty. Mid-80s right now, but there's low to mid-80s right now, but there's more to come. Yeah, Drew Morgan is a big pick to click in 2026 on the bump.
I was just about to say that. I think 2026 is the year of Drew Morgan. That kid's going to explode. I love everything about that. All right. Well, since you took my pick there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this really difficult on you, and I'm gonna take Cooper Nichols as my catcher. I'm gonna
You
take
already
the
got a
two.
catcher.
That's right. I'm gonna put Spencer Schiff in the DH. I'm gonna put Cooper Nichols as my catcher. And so I know I'm excited about our number 3 overall catcher, but to me, those two are the top in the class. And I'm gonna kind of pigeonhole you there, jump down the list a little bit, take our last catcher ranked in the top 15. Cooper Nichols is the guy, another one, kind of like Drew Morgan. I think 2026 is the year of Cooper Nichols. He did nothing but trend upwards for us in 25. He goes to Fort Wayne Carroll program that they churn out winners. Like that is a program that competes every year, no matter who they have on roster. And I think Coop is going to be a big part of that this spring. And then what I'm going to do on top of that, I'm going to take him as a relief pitcher, but I'm going to take Bishop Moore because what I'm going to go with is Bishop Moore. I'm convicted. Bishop Moore is going to throw 93 plus in 2026. He's going to be a big name that college coaches are all over. It's 6'7". He's a 3-sport athlete. I thought he made really, really just notable strides throughout 2025. It's a raw but athletic guy that just got a little bit better every time I saw him. Saw him at the MPI, looked even better when I saw him at the sophomore games. So those are gonna be my picks. I'm gonna take Cooper Nichols and I'm gonna take Bishop Moore.
Good picks. You definitely put me in a corner there. I'm gonna go back to the infielders. I'm gonna take Kalen Birdsell. He's going to play shortstop. We'll move Whaley to second or third base. Another big winner from 2025. Super easy actions. Everything just looks smooth. Another big-time winner from the Midwest Super Sophomore Games. He's a Cathedral kid. I just love his game. He hit in the summer, hit in the fall. Yeah, we're going to add Calum to the squad. Next pick. We're going to go back to the outfield, and we're going to put Hayden Zellers in right field.
Nah, you pigeonholed me.
Left-handed hitter. We've seen him forever. Twitchy swing. Greenfield Central. I like my outfield prospects. We got Hayden Zeller, Mason Bernanke, and Canyon Kuntz. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my third starter and, I'm going to stick on the trend of, what? I'm taking guys who are going to win 2026. I am taking Ian Funk. One of our top left-handed pitchers in the class, one of my favorite movers I've seen at a young age. I am extremely convicted that he's going to come out as a potential ace for an Andrean club that is another program that's just going to win, and they're going to win, and they're going to win. And I'm going to take Funk. After that, man, I need another bat in this group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, because you took Caleb from me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Spencer Schiff and I'm going to move Spencer Schiff to first base. And I'm going to take another two-way guy here. And I'm going to take Braylon Story. Braylon Story from Center Grove is a man. If there is a kid that comes through in this class that has some of the biggest intrigue and some of the most unteachable talent in the class, it's Braylon Story. Fastball up to 91. Can go on the offensive side, 6'3", runs a 6.49 at the Midwest Super Sophomore Games with near triple-digit exit velocities. He's going to be amongst a really tough Center Grove lineup to crack this year. But I tell you what, it's some of the, what we're looking for as evaluators, the things you can't teach, and this kid flat out oozes it. So I'm going to take him. He's going to be my DH for now, but he's also going to be an arm. I'm taking the athlete there. So now it's you. What you got?
Are you done with pitchers?
No, I could still leave it open because I could take another guy here. I just have so many two ways.
Gotcha. I'm going to address the bullpen real quick. We're going to take Gavin McGee out of Roncalli High School. 6-foot righty, moves really well, arm really works. I remember watching him from a young age, and his arm was clean, and you just always knew that there were jumps coming there. Spins it too. He had an awesome outing at the Midwest Super Sophomore Games. One thing I want to hit on real quick, this class is deep. Like, I know you talked about it a touch in your article, but like this class is deep, kind of shades of 2026, 2024. Like the 2028 class is good in Indiana. But I'm going to take Gavin McGee. Next, we still need, what do we need? Third baseman, first baseman. Who could play? We're going to take a two-way guy. Oh, you took Funk killed me. I wanted Funk.
Shout out Ian Funk. I can't wait to see you this year.
Actually, we need some potential. We need a little thump in the lineup. So we'll add Leon Torres to a potential DH or bench spot or outfield spot. Left-handed hitter from Andran. We've seen him at a couple showcases. Bigger kid. Like, I think there's some real potential power in there. I think he's got a shot to have a big 2026 too. So we're going to add a left-handed bat. And yeah.
All right. I like that. So you keep just pigeonholing me with outfielders, just gobbling up all the outfield talent in this class. I feel good about where I'm at on the arm side of things right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Drew Dalton. I'm not sure what position Drew Dalton's going to play yet because I know that Drew Dalton played the outfield last year for Decatur Central. He plays shortstop for his Indiana Hit Dogs group. He's a guy that, it's a ball player, right? That's what he is. 6'7" runner. The arm really works. There's some intrigue on the mound, but I think it's a position guy first and foremost. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pigeonhole you once again, and I'm going to take Matthew Fields as my third catcher, and he's going to be on the bench for me to start. But since you took all the outfielders from me, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take Matt Fields, put him on the bench for now. What's going to happen is Schiff will move to now with the utility that he has. He's now going to be a guy that I'm going to have more as a corner infielder pitcher than a catcher, and I'll have Cooper Nichols and Matt Fields as my catchers. So I know I just threw a wrench into your draft strategy. So what do you got now?
Yeah, that's fine. We can adjust. We're going to take Derek Branson for our bullpen potential closer piece. Super competitive.
That's a good one.
That's a guy that I want in a big game 3 scenario at the end of the game. He's a really competitive kid. We've seen it at JFG and a bunch. We've seen him grow up. That's a kid that I want on the mound in a big spot at the end of the game. Another modern day kid. Shout out Derek Branson. So we got 2 bullpen arms. Still need a catcher. We need infielders. We're going to go with we're going to take Chase Millington, and Chase Millington's going to catch a little bit. He's also going to play some third base, and he's also going to hit. Terre Haute North kid, right-handed hitter. He's caught a little bit in the past. He played third in the spring for Terre Haute North. But I think he can catch a little bit for me, and he can hit. So, yeah.
All right, my next 2 picks are going to be quick. I'm going to parlay 2 left-handed hitters together. I'm going to take Brody Magea, and I'm going to take Donovan Craig. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Brody Magea as my second baseman, arguably one of the best defenders of this group. Guy that can, coach his kid, handles the bat, is able to, go play on the dirt and really handle his own. I'm going to take Brody as my second baseman. And what I'm going to do is for now, I'm going to put Drew Dalton as my right fielder. And I'm going to put Donovan Craig as my left fielder. I know, Dono's a primary infielder, but, it's one of those things that, if you look at our list, right, you'll see a lot of shortstops start to go towards the top because for the simple reason, like, at the youngest of ages, who plays shortstop? It's the best athlete on the team, right? Best athletes tend to gravitate towards shortstop. So I'm going to gobble up as many of those guys as I can, and I'm going to distribute them through a bunch of different positions. So I'm going to have a shortstop, a shortstop at third base, shortstop at second base. I'm going to have shortstops in the corner outfield spots. And along with that, Dono can flat out freaking hit. And honestly, both of the guys I took, two of the most productive hitters in this state as freshmen on varsity. Both of them hit over 400 for 4A programs. Those two for me, and it kind of bolsters my lineup, gets me in a really good spot there. So your play.
First pick, we need another infielder. I'm going to take Ty White. He's going to play second base for me. We'll move Jack Whaley to third. Just uber athletic kid, a little undersized, but he makes up for it with speed, competitiveness. I know he's a really good football player too.
Winner.
Winner. Plays 100 all the time. We're going to add him. We're also going to add, we need another arm. We're going to add Bodie Poley to the bullpen. Bloomington North kid really spins it. I think he could provide some nice matchups versus right-handed hitters out of our bullpen. We've seen it up at 88, right? 88, 89. Yep. He's a good mover too, so we expect some jumps there from Bodie, and I think he's a nice piece to add to my bullpen.
Okay. I like it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with my mold that I kind of introduced with Ian Funk, and I'm going to go lefties that throw strikes. Shout out to Terre Haute. Give me Austin Semler. Austin's a kid I'm super excited to see this spring. Guy that, man, everybody we talk to is just Austin Semler wins. He's got the long, high-waisted, projectable frame. Came out as a freshman for Terre Haute South and posted just dominant numbers. So I'm going to take him there, and then I'll parlay him with another two-way guy. And I'm just going to flat out load the bullpen that I have, and I'm going to take Matt Coolidge out of Andrean. Two-way guy, I like him more on the mound, but he did make an impact for Andrean as a freshman with the bat. I actually saw him piece up Alex Barr, in front of 20 professional scouts last spring when Key Valley and Andrean lined up. So I'm going to take Coolidge. That gives you, let's see, you got a couple more picks here, so let's see what you got.
Yep, I need another infielder, possibly to play first base. I'm going to take Quinn Lewis out of Northview. He's an infielder, bigger kid. We could throw him over at first base. He's a kid that I have not seen a ton. I know you probably have more on him than I do, but I know he's a big 6'4" kid. I think we can throw him over at first base. Right-handed hitter. I've seen a little video. I like what I see. We haven't seen it in showcase yet. I hope we get to see him. We're going to add Quinn Lewis to the squad. And I think we're pretty much done with I guess I could add your pitching staff's got a little bit more than I do.
I got two ways. We got athletes on Team Trinkle.
Yeah. Can I be done with arms though? Is that?
Yeah, if you, because realistically you have, let's see, you have another, you have at least two more picks that you can take. Or you have three more picks that you can take. So you have this one, I'll take two more, and then you'll take two more.
Okay. I'm going to add Another bench player. I'm going to add Ben Finney out of Couts.
Dang it. That was my next pick.
He can play some outfield. He can play some shortstop. Big winner from the Fall State games. Athletic. He made a play up the middle of the Fall State games. I remember I looked at you. I'm like, that kid is good. Hits, competitor. I think once he puts on some strength, it's only going to get better. So we're going to add Ben Finney to our bench.
Dang, you took Ben Finney, the pick from me. I already had my 2 picks queued in. You know, they were sent in already. I thought you were going to leave that one off. All right. I'm going to take Jacob Forstek. I think I pronounced that correctly, Jake. Lake Central kid, outfielder that I'm really excited about. I need a little bit more outfield depth amongst this group, and so I'm going to go ahead and take him. Frankly, it probably shoots Jake Forstek to my starting left fielder when I can have Dono as my DH. That way, Braylon Story can just focus on bumping some fuzz from as my closer. And then so now let's see. I got one more pick that I can go ahead and take. What I'm gonna do, because I'd love to take Braden Greathouse, but I really another middle infielder on this group. Shout out to Braden Greathouse. He's a great player from Brownsburg. I'd love to add him, but I just don't have a need for him. So I'm just gonna keep bolstering this pitching staff, man. Give me Macon Simpson. I'm going to take Macon Simpson, lefty out of Floyd Central, that I think is set up for a huge 2026 season. Guy for me that I think he's going to, he's working with Ian Ellis right now. Shout out to Ian Ellis and the EBA crew. They're doing great things down in Jeffersonville. He's going to put some strength on Macon this offseason. I think Macon's going to come out, not only make a big impact for the Highlanders, but I think he's going to elevate himself as a prospect, come out with some mid-80s fastballs with the pitchability that we've seen ever since he was a JFG'er, make a big impact. This is me calling my shot right now. Macon Simpson, going to be a guy that is a name to know August 1st, 2026.
Yep, for sure. My next 2 guys, I'm going to go Finn Steiner, potential 2-way guy for me. He's from University. Low to mid-80s fastball right now. It's easy, clean. There's more in the tank for sure. He could definitely be a guy that makes some big jumps in the next year. He could also play a little third base for me. We'll throw him down there. And then I'm going to take another 2-way guy. We're going to add a lefty to the bullpen. We're going to take Brody Drake out of
Great
Center
pick.
Grove. Another Fall State games guy. He's like 5'11", left-handed pitcher. We saw him at the freshman All-State, and then we didn't see him we saw him once in the summer. He slowly progressed, and we really like what we saw at the Fall State games. Another arm at Center Grove that is a good prospect. I'm going to add him to my bullpen, and he can also hit a little bit left-handed hitter, so that's an option too.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, I know talking to Keith Hatfield the other day, he said that he thought Brody was one of their most improved hitters in their entire program, from his freshman year to what he showed those guys this fall. I'm with you. He's a guy that I'm a little bit more excited about on the mound, just because it's left-handed and it's good velo, it's good stuff. But man, there's something to that swing as well. I would hope I got my conglomerate of lefties to be able to mitigate him, give him some tough left-on-left matchups. But I tell you what, man, this is a couple really good squads here. And this will be a fun revisit, not only on August 1st and right after it, where we could see, hey, maybe who has the most Division I commits between Team Trinkle, Team Matting, stuff like that. But it's also going to be a cool revisit maybe 2-3 years down the line once these guys are seniors and all the dust settles and everybody's kind of gotten to that physical point where, there isn't the kid that, hey, maybe he hasn't gone all the way through puberty yet. Maybe he hasn't put the strength on yet. By that time, we're going to be able to kind of see, where this class gets to. So, oh man, this will be I wish we could find a way to get these guys together, line them up here in spring or summer and, go at it. I think there'd be some really, really fun baseball to be had with these two groups. But For me, that's our fantasy draft. Like I said, I wanted to have a little bit of fun with this. I didn't want this just to be us to go back and forth. We kind of introed the 2029 class with that podcast or whatever you have it. This is, guys who are a little bit more established, they're a year into it, wanted to have fun with it, do a fantasy draft, but also kind of talk, throughout, and especially at the beginning of, this is kind of the why behind what we're doing. So, I'll turn it over to you, Connor. Connor, you have anything else before we outro?
Yeah, that was fun. It'll be interesting to kind of go back through here and kind of look at both the squads. A question I had for you, if the kids 2028, they're going to come to a showcase in the winter. They want to update their numbers. They want to get seen. Should they come to the preseason All-State, or should they come to our ID events? What do you have there?
It's actually a great question. I'm really glad you asked that because I actually just sent out an email. I don't know if you've been checking my emails. I actually just sent out an email this morning, or I guess it went out about an hour ago. This is my advice. I get this question all the time this time of year. Hey, what event should I go to? Okay. For me, my personal advice would be, hey, look, if you're an established player, if you're a guy that we have a personal relationship, and when I say we, I'm talking about our whole staff, right? Like whether it be with me, Connor, Phil, whoever it may be, if you're a guy that, we know a lot about, we've seen you since you were Rising Stars. We talk, all those things, that the preseason All-State's going to be the most exclusive event. Okay. We're going to invite who we believe are top 150, top 200 type players, and they're all going to have the invite to come to the All-State. Now, I will say this, with the All-State, it's going to be much less of an intimate type relationship, like a personal relationship. Like it's going to be, hey, we're going to stack up the best players in this class. We're going to take BP. You're going to be the one guy hitting while everybody's looking at you. All 100, 150 guys there are going to be watching you. Same thing goes with, the defensive part. Same thing goes with the bullpen. We're not going to have as much time to sit there and talk to you of, hey man, like tell me about yourself. Where, who have you played travel ball for? Where do you train? Different things, like what other sports do you play? At the All-State, we don't quite have that opportunity. That event's more of a, hey, show up, see where you stack up, and that's going to be that. The other side of that, man, like if you're a guy that we've seen maybe once, we've seen a couple times, I've heard about you, or you're looking to make a name for yourself, come to a preseason ID, right? Because it's going to be a much smaller roster size. It's going to be a 30 to 50 kid event. There's going to be more time for us to kind of sit there and have those conversations of, hey, tell me about yourself. What are your goals? What have you been doing? What's your training look like? Different things like that. And on top of that, we're going to be able to have the time at those events to really sit there and not only get the in-person evaluation where, I'm going to be able to sit there and watch your entire BP round. There's not going to be multiple BPs going like the All-State. Like I'm going to sit there and then when I say like our whole staff is going to be able to sit there and watch you. Right. We're going to be able to sit there, maybe give you a little bit of feedback. Hey, try this in your swing, or hey, have you ever thought about maybe, kind of having this pitch grip or whatever it may be, right? Like we're going to be able to kind of talk a little bit more, and we're going to be able to build that relationship at that preseason ID. And so that's something for me, man. Like if you are looking to really, really boost your stock, I'd say the number one way to do it is to come to the All-State and be one of the best players there, right? But not everybody is going to be like that type of talent right now today. Like not everybody's going to come out and run a 6.6 and hit balls 100 and throw 92 across, right? Like if you're that guy, you come to the preseason All-State, yeah, your stock's going to explode, right? But if you're more of the mold of the kid that, you're just starting to grow into your man body, you're just starting to kind of figure out your swing, figure out your delivery, things like that, and you want to make sure that you get in front of our eyes and you make a loud first impression, and it's not just me going through video after an event that's like oh wow, I didn't see this in person, but I like this, right? Like, because that's kind of what happens at the All-State. You want to get in front of us, you want to build a relationship, do those things, man. I highly encourage you to consider a preseason ID event. And on top of that, the preseason IDs for me allow us to go all throughout the state. We're in the region, we're in Fort Wayne, we're in Evansville, different South Bend up there. Like, as we're building our staffs, where we're going to go this spring, what are the high schools we have to see, who we have to go see. Like, preseason ID is going to be one of the first things I go to when I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to make 5 trips to South Bend. I know one of us is going to be up in South Bend on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Like, these are the guys we got to go get. I mean, I'm going to go straight to the Northern Indiana preseason ID. I'm going to look at it and be like, yep, this kid stood out at that event. We got to go get eyes on South Bend St. Joe, go get eyes on Penn, go get eyes on Warsaw, different programs like that within that region. Maybe John Glenn, you might see me at John Glenn this spring. But it's, man, that's a great question, Connor. I'm glad you asked that, because it is something that everybody wants to come to the All-State. But I tell you what, I mean, the best way to really, really, boost yourself is to come to one of those ID events, show that not only are you a guy that we need to follow, but allow us a little bit of time to build a relationship with you. So I'm glad you asked that, Connor. Connor, did I miss anything there? What do you think? Like, did I kind of touch it all, or?
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered most of it.
Cool. Well, for us here with Prep Baseball Indiana, I'm Cooper Trinkle, Team Connor Matting. We're gonna go ahead and outro this 2028 talk. Can't wait to see some of the clips of this as we get this posted on all of our socials. We'll make sure, if you're listening to this, you're probably following us on X, or Twitter. I keep going. It's Twitter to me, man. You're following us there. You're following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, what have you. But also, kind of like we talked about in the 2029 talk, we do plan to get on here, try to talk, as much as we can, provide education, provide entertainment of, baseball within the state of Indiana. I know if you're listening to this, you're passionate about baseball within our community, and that aligns with us here, man. We are aggressively passionate about baseball in the state of Indiana. I love what I do, love being able to, help players and, do things like this where we kind of shine a light on guys. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And like I said on the last one, man, if you have any ideas of what you want to hear us talk about, my DMs are open, my email's open. So we want to hear them. So for us, thanks for listening.